Welcome to the part 2 of the episode 3. In today's tutorial, we are going to take a different trend. So I received two designs from two people from the Creative Journey WhatsApp group. I asked you guys that you try your hands on the birthday flyer design tutorial I posted earlier. So I received these two designs from two people. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about these two designs. I'm going to give you reviews and then corrections and other critiques so that we learn from them. Okay, so afterwards, I'm going to take you through how you can design these flyers from scratch, and then I'll be using these two images for the case study because the picture is very quality. So if you are ready, then let's get into Photoshop. So this was where we left off in the part 1. For now, we are going to skip this part and then we'll recreate everything from scratch. So as you already know, we are going to create a new document. In doing that, you go to File and then you click on New. You can also use the shortcut Ctrl+N. Now we are going to use 1080 by 1080 for our dimension with a 300 resolution. So let's name this document as birthday flyer. I know that I've already touched on a few things, but in this tutorial we are going to go more deeper. So I'm going to talk about a whole lot of things, especially things that I never touched on in the previous videos. So I'd like you to stay focused as we go deeper into the tutorial. Okay, so now I'll bring in the images that I would like to use. So let me first import the flyer that I received from one of the two people. So for you to import anything into Photoshop, first you go to File and then you click on Place Embedded. So now you can search for your file and then you import it into Photoshop. Okay, so before we start working on the design, I just want to address a few things in the two designs. So I'll start with the first one. So I can see that the person went for a gradient background. And also I just want to talk about the shadows used in the two designs. When you take good notice of this shadow, you could see that the shadow is not really realistic. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create a very good realistic shadow. Also, in the two designs, I can see that the text that was used or the fonts that was used wasn't a good font, and so I'm going to show you how you can download a lot of fonts, a lot of beautiful fonts, and how you can install them on your PC. So without wasting my time, let's continue with our design. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to extract these three pictures, and that is what I'll be using for the design. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this tool, the rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to draw the aspect where I want to extract. Then I'll use the shortcut Ctrl+J, and now it is being duplicated. Then I will do same for the other two. When you select the rectangular marquee tool, make sure that in the layer panel the original design is being selected so that you can be able to extract the picture from it. Okay, so now I've extracted the three pictures. So now if I turn off the original flyer, you would see that the three pictures have been already extracted. As you can see, so I've already extracted the images. Okay, so at this point the three pictures have been rasterized. When I say rasterized, it means that there is no small box here. Okay, when you have a layer and then there is a small box here, that means it is a smart object. The reason why it is a smart object is that when you create a smart object, it means that the more you reduce or increase the size of the images, it won't affect the quality of the image. But when it is being rasterized, that is when the small box is not here, as you can see in the other layers, and then you reduce the size more and more, it's going to affect the quality of the images. So that's the reason why you need to um, always convert your images to smart objects. So we are going to convert the rest of the two images to a smart object. So in doing that, you are going to right click on the layer, and then you go through these options and you click on convert to smart object, and then you do same for the other layer. Okay, so now all the three pictures have been converted into a smart object. So when you reduce the sizes 10 times, it will never affect the quality. The quality will still be the same. Alright, so now let me turn off the pictures so that we work on the background. But I'm going to turn on one picture so that we pick the colors from the image. Okay, so for you to create the background, as you already know, you want to create the background beneath the pictures. So you make sure that you select the background, the default background, and then you go to adjustment layer and then you select solid color. Okay, now I want us to go with a bright yellow, as you can see in the picture. So you click on any parts of the picture and then the color will be picked for the background. I think this is okay. Okay, now we've created a solid color. Now let's turn on the pictures now. So I'm going to increase the size of the picture in the middle so that it will be a little bigger than the rest of the two. Okay, so now I want to decrease the size of the two together. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select the two of the layers and I'll reduce the sizes together. Okay, now there should be uniformity in the design, so we need to align the two pictures to the middle, because when you watch closely you realize that the space here is smaller than the space here. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to group the two pictures, Ctrl plus G, and then we align it to the middle. As I taught you earlier, you are going to use Ctrl plus A, and then you select the move tool and then you click on align horizontal centers. Okay, this is fine. So far we only have the two pictures in the group, so we can add the other one to the group now, so that the arrangement in the layer panel is not messed up. So I will name the group as pictures. Okay, now so I'm going to create another light color behind the pictures so that it will help the pictures stand out. So this is what we are going to do. It either use the gradients or you create a new layer and you select the brush tool and you make sure the foreground color here is white. Then you click on the background. Okay, now the background is not really brightening for me, so I'm going to further work on the color we chose earlier by making it brighten. So now the solid color we chose is not really colorful for me, so I'm going to double click on this thumbnail here and then choose a very bright yellow. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so you can also use a different method to work on this background. So we just use the solid color to create a background first. So I want us to try the gradient method too. So you come to adjustment layers and then you select gradient. Here I'm going to use a bit of orange. And then finish it up with a very bright yellow. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to use the linear style. I'm going to work with the radar style. Okay, so at this point, we are going to work with a shadow. We are going to create a shadow behind the three pictures so that we can be able to create a 3D look. So now we are going to create a new layer, which is also known as an empty layer. So now you are going to select the brush tool and then you right click on the artwork. For this small circle, we are going to compress it so that it works well with the shadow that we want to create. Now you make sure that the foreground color is black, because we all know that shadow is always black. Now on this particular shadow we want to create is called cast shadow. Okay, so when you create a shadow like this, it is not realistic, okay, because the shadow has really spread, but we want it to compress more and more. So we are going to compress this shadow that we just created. Yes, I think this is okay. And then you move it right behind the picture. So this is how it should be. The shadow shouldn't be like this. Okay, it should be right behind the picture. And then this makes it very realistic. Okay, so we are going to duplicate the shadow for the two pictures also. So Control plus J will duplicate it, and you move it right behind the other pictures. Here, this shadow is too big, so you are going to scale it down to fit the image, or to fit the size of the image that we have. So now we will duplicate it again and then move it behind the other picture too. Okay, so we have our 3D look. So this is how you can create um, a realistic shadow. Okay, that will make your work very neat. Now when you pay close attention to what we just did, you see that the bigger picture appears to be very close, and then the rest of the two appear to be very far. So this is the 3D look that I wanted us to create. Alright, so now we are coming to add the necessary text. I'll only type one sentence, and then we move on to the other stuffs because of time. So to be able to select the text tool, you simply hit on T on your keyboard, or you come here and then you select the text tool. Now you click on the workspace and then you type what you want to type. So I'm going to type in congratulations, or simply congrats. Okay, so I've typed the congrats, but now I want to increase the size a bit. This is what you do. If you've been using Microsoft Word, I believe that this shouldn't be a new thing to you. So you simply highlight the whole text, and then you come here and then you increase size. Okay, so now looking at the typeface or the typography, I don't think it matches with the theme of the design because we are creating a congratulatory flyer. So the text or the typography should match with it. So we are going to change this font. So as you can see, I have a whole lot of fonts. I'll put a link in the description so that you can download them and then install them on your PC. For now, I'm going to change the font and then I'll show you how you can install the font on your PC. Okay, now so we want to align the text to the middle. So as I told you earlier, we are going to use Ctrl plus A, and then you select align horizontal centers. Okay, so now the text is in a black color, but it doesn't work with the design. So we are going to change the color to the deep blue in the man's outfit. So this is how you change the color. I think this is a great color. Okay, so we have our text here, but I want to add a shadow to the text so that it gives me a more realistic look. So this is what you do. You see this FX option here, you click on it. The name is layer style. So you click on the layer style and then you choose any style that you want. So today we are going to talk about the drop shadow, which is also known as the normal shadow that we know. So you click on it and then this box appears. So this is where you manipulate the options of the drop shadow which you want to fit in your design. So this is the opacity. As you can see how it is working. Then this is the size. This is how the shadow spreads. Okay, so I think we have a nice shadow. So now in this box, you can further change the color of the text by going for color overlay. You can also go for a gradient overlay, but you make sure that you uncheck the color overlay before you go for the gradient overlay. Okay, so now we've talked about drop shadow, color overlay, and the gradient overlay. In our next video, we'll talk about more features in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so now I want to show you how you can download and install fonts on your PC. So I've already compiled more than 1,000 fonts, so you can download them and then install them on your PC. Okay, so this is the font. Okay, so when you download the font in the link in the description, this is what you get. It's been compressed as a zip file. Okay, so when you download it, you're going to right click on it and then you click on extract all. So when you click on extract all, every font that has been compressed in the zip file will be extracted. So let me click on it for you to see. So when you click on extract all, this option will appear where you are going to select where you want to save this font. So I'm going to browse and then give a location to where I want the font to be saved. So when you click here on extract, all the fonts will be extracted and then you can now install them on your PC. Okay, so as you can see, the fonts are being extracted. It will take a few minutes, so I'm going to forward this part so that we continue. Okay, so these are the fonts. They are more than 1,000. So this is what you are going to do in order to install them on your PC so that you can use them in your designs. So after you get the fonts, you are going to select all the files to save time, because if you want to do it one after the other, it will take a lot of time. So this is what you are going to do. You are going to use the shortcut Ctrl+A to select all the fonts, and then you right click on one of them. Immediately you right click, an option will come. You see install and then install for all users. So you are going to click on install for all users. I've already installed this font, so that's why we are seeing these options popping up. So the fonts are being installed. So now that you've been able to install the font, I'd like you to use this font that I used in the design. The name of the font is No 7. So you come here and then you search for, or you type in No 7 and then the font appears. Okay, so this is how you can install fonts on your PC. You would have to do that so that we continue with this design, because you need to have access to a lot of fonts so that your designs look awesome and very beautiful. Okay, so at this point we are going to create a rectangle below the whole design. So you select your rectangle tool. You can use the shortcut U, and then you draw a rectangle here. So now the rectangle is in black, but I want it to be in white. So this is what you do. You double click here on this small box, then the color picker appears. Then you select your white. Let me show you another method. So you come to the FX option here, that is the layer style. You click on it, then you go to color overlay, and then you select the color you want. We are using white, so you select white. Okay, so to make our design more organized, I would like us to move the pictures and then the happy birthday text to the top. So you're going to select all the layers, both including the shadows, the pictures, and the happy birthday text. I think it's fine. Okay, so I'm going to use the rest of the details from the flyer that I received from one of the people in the WhatsApp group. So the name is Mr. Kelvin Mate Tete. So you're going to select the text tool again by hitting on T on the keyboard. And then you type in the rest of the details. But now I don't want us to use this font. I want us to use a very simple font. So here you are going to type in the name of a font that I want us to use. And the name is Montserrat. Okay, so you select the Montserrat regular. Then you make sure the color is in white. Okay, I think the white doesn't work well with the yellow background, so we are going to select the blue. And then you type in the details. Okay, so at this point the text is very thin, so I want us to be I want it to be a little bit bold. So you right click on the picture, so you right click on the text, and then it's being highlighted, and then we select the bold version. Okay, this is great. So the next details will be best worker of the year. So this is what to do. We are going to duplicate the text we just created, and then we input the rest of the details. So Control plus J, and then you move it below the text we created. Now we are going to double click on the text again, and then we insert our next details. Right, so we are going to add the final details, and then we call it a day. Now we are going to repeat the same process. So let's duplicate the text we created, but this time around we are going to move it on top of the rectangle so that it shows. Okay, I want us to use a black color for this text. So after working on the design, you make sure that every element you added is being aligned to the center, because in this design we are only working with the center alignment. In the future we will talk more about the left alignment and the right alignment, but for this particular design we only worked with the center alignment. So I want to add a few things to the design to complete it. Now you can see that our layer panel is in a mess, so we need to group them for it to look great. Okay, so first of all, this is the background, so we are going to group the background and call it BG. Also, these are the shadows, so we'll group them also and then type and then name it shadows. The pictures are already grouped and named. So for the text also, we are going to group them and then call it text. I think that's all. Okay, so this is our final design, but there is one thing that I need to add here, which is the confetti. I'm going to import it and then show you how, or show you the best way to use the confetti. Alright, so this is the confetti. So when you get a confetti like this, you don't put it in the middle. Okay, when you put it in the middle here, it doesn't make the design look good. So this is what you do. You make sure that the confetti is only seen at the edges of the design. Depending on the direction the confetti is coming from. So this particular confetti, you see that it's actually coming from the sides. Okay, so for this particular confetti, it is best that you make it visible at the edges of the design. We have other types of confetti. There are some that only show at the top. So when you get that kind of confetti, make it visible only at the top. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to put this text on a rectangle to make it more appealing. So let me zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to create a rectangle below the name so that it will make the design more appealing. So you take your rectangle tool and then you draw at where you want the rectangle to be or to appear. So we are going to change the color to white. So now I don't want the corners here to be pointed. So we are going to go with a rounded rectangle. Maybe in my next tutorial I'll talk more about the rounded rectangle. Okay, now we have our rounded rectangle, but it seems both the rounded rectangle and the name are very big, so we need to reduce it a bit. Yeah, I think this is fine. So I'm going to reduce the opacity of the rectangle. I don't think it's fine. Okay, this is cool. Okay, let's just leave it like this. So comparing these two designs, you can see that there is a very big difference. Yes. So comparing these two designs, you can see that there is a very big difference. I believe that you've learned a whole lot of things, and then I've really pointed out a number of corrections and mistakes. So thank you so much for watching to this point. We will continue this tutorial in the next video. That means we'll be having a part 3 of this tutorial. In the part 3, we'll continue with this design. So I'll be working with these pictures also, and then talk about a few mistakes in the design. Thank you very much, and then I'll see you in my next video.